Hi everyone, my name is Ashfaq Syed, and today I'll be presenting on one of the most controversial and enduring symbols of the post 9/11 counterterrorism policy, which as you can see is Guantanamo Bay. So this presentation is mostly focused on the ethical and legal debate surrounding the prison, and it explores how challenges how it challenges the balance between national security and human rights. Now, just some background, Guantanamo Bay is often referred to as GTMO, and it is a U.S. military prison located in Cuba. Now, it was established shortly after the 9/11 attacks with the goal of detaining suspected terrorists. While it was seen as a necessary step in the counterterrorism effort, it quickly became a flashpoint for criticism due to serious concerns about due process and human rights violation. So, as you all know, in the documentary, it was referred to as a black hole, which is a red flag for a lot of human rights violations, as you know. But just some background. The Guantanamo Bay was officially opened in January of 2002, and the key reason for placing it in Cuba was to keep detainees out of the reach of the U.S. legal jurisdiction, and at its peak, nearly 800 people were held there. As of 2024, about 30 detainees remain. Many of those are still in prison and have never formally been charged or tried in court. Now, many detainees. One of the most disturbing aspects of Guantanamo Bay is the indefinite detention of individuals without formal charge. Many have been held without ever seeing a courtroom. Enhanced interrogation techniques have been used. Many of them are recognized as torture these days. That was just used to extract information about other terrorists or other plans that they have. And even worse, some of these detainees were later found to have been wrongfully imprisoned. Now, investigations by the CIA, the Red Cross, and the U.S. Senate confirmed widespread abuse. Interrogation methods including waterboarding, sleep deprivation, stress techniques, practices that clearly violate international norms, and a 2008 Senate report concluded that these harsh methods failed to yield any real reliable intelligence because under pressure or under stress, people will say anything just to get out of it, which raises a lot of questions about both their morality and their effectiveness. The global response was overwhelmingly critical. Human rights groups, along with organizations like the EU and the UN, or European Union, and the United Nations, called for the prison to be shut down. And in 2008, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the detainees had the constitutional right to challenge their detention in federal court. Despite all that, the facility still continues to operate to this day. Some findings. Here's some troubling facts. 86% of detainees were not captured on battlefields. They were turned in for bounties. As y'all know from the documentary, the U.S. Military dropped a bunch of flyers asking for bounties for anyone or handing out bounties for anyone who turned in a potential terrorist. And as you all know, again, many of them were turned in innocent civilians just to get the money, and aided and abetted the actual terrorists. So a lot of them were held for over 20 years without any real charges, and the U.S. government spent over $13 million per prisoner per year. Now, this statistic highlights both the human cost and the staggering financial cost of the facility. Supporters of Guantanamo Bay argue that it's a necessary tool to keep dangerous individuals off the battlefield, but critics say it betrays American legal values and gives extremist groups propaganda to use against us. And this ethical debate between protecting security and upholding civil liberties is at the heart of this controversy. Now, personally, this research really opened my eyes to the complexity of counterterrorism. I was especially shocked to see how little due process there was, due process as many of these detainees received, and it forces us to ask that, can indefinite detention ever be justified in the name of national security? That's just something to think about. Now, in conclusion, Guantanamo Bay is a powerful example of the moral and legal compromises made during the War on Terror. It reminds us that how difficult it is to balance protecting a nation with respecting fundamental rights, and despite the global criticism and legal challenges, the facility is still open, proving that this debate is far from over. Here are some sources that were used. Council of Foreign Relations and Human Rights Watch are the main sources. And then you have Amnesty International. Thank you.